Hi, everybody. Anne Kahn graduated from Edison in 2009. Her quirky sense of humor and infectious positivity entertained everyone around her, teachers and students alike. She was a free spirit who loved to spend her time swimming under her house. Think about it. Just take a second to think about it. And who once executed a perfect flying ninja past the window in Mr. Busick's store. Please give a warm welcome to one of our favorite former students, Anne Kahn.
Good morning, everyone. Hello, that was great. One second. Hi. Hi. I would refrain from investing too much into your daughter's future, Mrs. Kahn. I've seen many other students like her. I wouldn't even look at putting her through college. She will fail. ADHD is an incredibly challenging disorder to work through. I'm sorry. My mother paused and quietly considered the middle school counselor in front of her. She folded her hands neatly into her lap, and that's when my mother dropped the F-bomb, with explicit instructions on where to insert it. I'm fortunate to have parents that wouldn't take no for an answer. I wish I could tell you that this was my mother's only conversation where a teacher, friend, or principal was told to give up. I was told I was too stupid, distracted, and energetic to go far in life, all before I would reach the age of 12. I'm one of those fortunate people diagnosed with ADHD young. My 5th grade teacher reported that I was too hyper and challenging to manage. I was sent to specialist after specialist, where I was put through an exhaustive series of tests. My final diagnosis came with no shortage of labels. I can remember my 10-year-old brain trying to comprehend what exactly attention deficit hyperactivity disorder was. I recall that adults, specifically teachers, treated me a little differently after my diagnosis. If I was too energetic, spacey, or forgetful, I would hear, "Oh, that's Anne, and she has ADHD." In middle and grade school, I felt more and more self-conscious about how I acted. Instead of trying to work with my disability, I would run from it and deny it. I started acting out using humor to mask my fear of learning differently. I found that the further I ran away from understanding my disability, the more I got in trouble. This began to manifest in math and geography the most. I had a difficult time processing auditory information when I was little. Numbers, figures, and locations would get jumbled together in my head to the point where I would end up in frustrated tears. I tried to write down what my teachers told me, but somehow it felt like bits and pieces would get lost along the way. My classmates laughed at me, and I dreaded every time the teacher called on me randomly to test if I was paying attention. The older I got, the more challenging learning became for me. I developed anxiety alongside my ADHD and was kicked out of my first middle school for acting out. I was placed in classroom after classroom, but I couldn't focus or retain the information taught to me. In addition to my ADHD, I struggled with depression and anxiety. My parents discovered Gately Academy, where my education would take a turn for the better. Gately, now known as Bridges School, was where I would first learn to face my disability. Edison is where I would learn to master it. In most schools, students are taught one way of thinking and one way of learning, measured on standardized tests, focusing on math and verbal skills. While that one way of thinking may work for most students, it doesn't work for all students. Before I came to Edison, having ADHD and being given school assignments was like being told to build a subway with only one verbal set of assembly instructions. Edison broke down those instructions into sizable chunks. I could understand. They recorded them, illustrated them, and gave me a map to follow them in a way I understood. I could get to the same conclusions as any of you, but I have an entirely different process of seeing the problems in front of me. Learning alongside other students with similar disabilities gave me insight into how they learned and how I could learn. I can't highlight everyone that impacted my life for the better in Edison, but I can speak to a few of you that helped me down my current path. Craig Busick. I had panic attacks nearly every day after lunch. I was too young to understand that I was overwhelmed by the world around me. You gave me the space, validated me, and gave me strategies to cope with the world. I still look up to you. You are my family. Milo Maggie, Steve Beard, Puccio, you gave me my love of math and science. I am in my current career as a senior 3D medical artist because you taught me that math and science are fascinating and learnable, not frightening. I use math every day in my career, but I'm no longer intimidated by it. Megan Nealis, Maureen Manning, and Catherine Halpin taught me how to write. You gave me my love of musicals, costuming, and Gatsby. You introduced me to poetry and art. Megan, you continue to inspire me, and you have raised one heck of a daughter. I can't emphasize enough the importance of structure in a learning environment. Edison's small classroom sizes mean more one-on-one time with teachers and less anxiety around asking for help. As a freshman in high school, I was terrified of raising my hand. In grade school, I would be laughed at for asking too many questions by my peers. That anxiety traveled with me from middle school into high school. But with time, by my sophomore year, I was speaking up confidently in my classes. The tools I learned at Edison helped to pave the way for my college education. Learning in a smaller classroom prepared me for larger classroom sizes I would face in college. Practicing learning strategies in a smaller classroom size prepared me for larger ones. Do I continue to struggle with ADHD? Yes. On the daily, there are tasks that I still struggle with, but I work for a company and coworkers that understand the way I learn and break things down visually for me. I'm still learning about how I think and function with adult ADHD and finding ways to learn better. My name is Kahn. I'm a senior 3D and post-production artist from Acumed, one of the top medical implant manufacturing companies in the United States. I lead a small team of contractors. I shoot and edit cadaveric surgeries, interview famous surgeons, and coach our voice talent and animators on how to show our surgical techniques. With the help of Thomas Edison High School, I would never have made it this far. I graduated valedictorian at Edison High School with honors in college. Thank you, Edison. Thank you, Gately. And thank you to my amazing parents for the guidance and support you've given me. And thanks to all of you who today are here to support the amazing Edison High School.